What's up? Wow, I can't even talk. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. As you probably just saw at the beginning of this video, it is, how would you say? Cold as balls right now. Like, it is beanie in the house type of cold. And I'm like, not even playing around. It is freaking cold out there right now. Which is why like all of my videos recently have been kind of like indoor at my desk doing some sort of like editing tutorial. And guess what? Today is no different because we're gonna talk about skin tones and specifically some advanced techniques on how to really make your skin tones stand out and make a statement in your videos. But yeah, just wanted to say like, sorry, I guess, that all my videos have been kind of boring, I get. Just being inside, that's not the type of content that I wanna make long-term. But even like a couple of weeks ago, man, I went out, woke up at sunrise, had the whole shoot planned, got outside, and lasted like 20 minutes. It's just no joke right now. So as soon as the weather kind of turns around, or maybe we just move. Whoa, okay. Until it is withstandable to be outside. This is just kind of what you're gonna get for right now. But I suppose we ought to respect the YouTube algorithm and get on with this intro that has nothing to do with the actual video. And let's talk about skin tones.
All right, so in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you a bit of an advanced tutorial when it comes to editing skin tones. Now, I've already made a video about skin tones, and I will link that right up here. And if you haven't watched that, it's definitely worth the watch. But the only problem with that video is basically all we talk about is the actual tone or color of the skin, making sure it's not going too far into the reds or the other way too far into the greens, into the yellow. And we just really talk about just basic principles when it comes to editing skin tones. Today, I want to go a little bit deeper and I want to show you how you can make your skin tones really stand out in the scene of the video. Skin tones are by far some of the hardest things to edit, but it's also the most important part, especially, you know, if your subject is a person. So we're going to hop into Premiere Pro and I'm going to show you what I do when it comes to editing skin tones. All right, so we are here in Premiere Pro, and one thing I will mention before we even get into the tutorial is that these techniques, much like my other video, these techniques work on every single skin color, every ethnicity. So whether you're Black or Asian or some sort of Hispanic or you're white, no matter who you are, no matter what color your skin is, these same principles apply across the board. So with that little disclaimer out of the way, let's get started. So I've already pulled up 3 clips, and I want this tutorial to go relatively quickly. So I don't want to bore you with everything, but I've already got 3 clips. I've already pulled adjustment layers over each clip, and I'm just gonna turn those on. And all those adjustment layers did, I just added contrast and saturation to kind of bring the clips up to life just a little bit. So obviously before, after, we haven't done anything to the actual skin tone. So first thing I like to do, copy the adjustment layer, select Alt on your keyboard, bring it up, and then go in and reset that whole adjustment layer. And this layer is gonna be where we're gonna start dealing with the actual tone or the color of the skin. So I like to go into the HSL secondary, grab this little eyedropper tool, get a little selection, gray everything else out to see what we've selected. That looks pretty dang good. I mean, we've got a little bit going on here in the background, but I'm not gonna worry about that at all. Looking over at our skin tone line in the vector scope, we look pretty spot on already. The only thing I would say is that the reds have a little bit too much saturation, as you can see right here. So what I'm gonna do is go into the hue saturation curves, hue versus hue. I'm just gonna grab our skin tone right here, and I'm just gonna pull it down away from the reds ever so slightly, like just real subtle. I mean, even that was too much here. Got to be real delicate with it. Come back down, and I'll show you this slight adjustment before, after, before. You can really actually see those reds come right out of the skin. after, before, after. All right, I like the way the color looks. Now I'm gonna do one further. Select Alt on the keyboard, bring it up again, reset this entire adjustment layer. Now I'm gonna go into the effects controls, select my Lumetri color effect, and I'm gonna mask now. And I can already tell you, I like to feather it about 100. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting a mask for the adjustment, or I'm the Lumetri color effect. I am masking it so it only affects the skin tones, or in this case, the face. Obviously, we've got a little bit of the skin tones here at the bottom of the frame, but right here in this clip, at least, we're gonna focus on the face. Now, what I'm gonna do is go back to Lumetri Scopes. I'm gonna go into the Curves panel. And this is a really easy and subtle effect that is going to make huge difference. So let's get rid of that. So what I want to do is I want to make our skin tones really just come off of the screen. Like I want them to stand out. I want this lady who we've interviewed, I want her to be the unquestionable focus and subject of this frame. And how we're going to do that is we're going to make these skin tones look a lot better. I mean, you might even think already that these skin tones look fine, and they do, but we're going to take it to the next level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab up here in the highlights, bring these down just a little bit. I'm going to lift these up. Now, just by doing that, look at the before and after. It's subtle, but it's already making a huge difference. And we're actually going to make this even more so. Let's really bring those up. Before, after. I mean, look at how much of a difference that has made. Look at the saturation, the contrast coming back into her face. That is a huge difference. And, we might have overdone it just a tad. So I'm going to bring this down just so ever so slightly. Maybe bring some shadows back down. I mean, that is a massive difference we've already made. And all we want to do is we want to just kind of play around, see where this is going too far, where we can continue to push. And each clip is obviously going to look a little different depending on lighting and all that. But I'm really liking the way that's looking. So now I'm going to go back to our second adjustment layer. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some of our color effect, our color correction to the entire clip. And this will include the skin tones as well. So the reason I do this on the second layer as opposed to the third top layer is because I don't want this effect to just take place in the skin tones, or else it's going to look very off compared to everything else. I want this effect to be applied to the entire scene. So going down to the color wheels, I want to bring my midtones. I always bring the midtones up to wherever the skin tone is, which in this case is going to be right on, in between the yellows and the reds and the oranges, just right up there, matching, our skin tone line on the vector scope. A little before and after. Can already see it happening. Now the highlights, I usually have our highlights reflect whatever the ambient light is in the scene. In this case, we have a huge window coming left of frame here, creating a lot of natural light. And I believe this was shot on a bit of an overcast day, so that natural ambient light is actually going to be more towards the blues. So we're just going to pull this to kind of match what that sky was doing. Before and after. It's subtle, but it's starting to come together. Might even do just a little bit more. A little bit more. And then our shadows. I usually always have our shadows be somewhere around the greens to the reds. I usually keep the shadows away from the cooler side of things and always on the warmer, because your shadows actually affect your skin tones quite a bit. So I just kind of play around with it until I find something that looks clean and natural. I usually like it to be somewhere around kind of the yellows-ish. Right about there looks good. So before, after, before, after. And you can even tell, you know, on our waveform here, we've really added those blues up in the shadows, and kind of subsequently, we've added some blues into the shadows as well. Or did I say that backwards? Highlights, shadows, sorry. And I'm just gonna make a little more fine-tune adjustments here. Might add the overall saturation up just a bit, about 105. And now I'm gonna go back up to our layer that only contains the mask around the skin tones. I'm gonna just toggle it off, on. Wow, seriously, such a huge difference there. And at this point, you know, I'm thinking maybe her skin is a little on the warm side. So I'm gonna drop it on the temperature here to like -2, just real subtle. And right there, that is a finished product in my mind. I could maybe do a little bit more, but for the sake of time, I don't want to. So let's just show off the entire edit. So that was straight up right out of camera. This is just a basic contrast saturation to bring it back to life. This is the overall color correction, color grade of the clip. And then this is the skin tone magic to really solidify what our subject is in frame. Bam. All right, this is just another kind of testimonial interview that we did at work. And again, I've already added some saturation and contrast back into the frame. I'm gonna grab my adjustment layer, reset everything, and we're gonna do the exact same process. Wow, who would have thought? Select the eyedropper tool. Gonna noise everything out or gray everything out. So obviously we're seeing a lot of the brick in the background is being selected as well as the same skin tone as her face and skin. So what you can do is you can actually kind of adjust things down here to try and really limit anything else from being selected. Sometimes it works. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That is exactly what I was hoping to find. So looking over at our vector scope, we are seeing a clear shift and push to the red side of our skin tone line. And we don't want that. We want her skin to be natural, right on that skin tone line. And again, this works for any person regardless of skin color. So I'm gonna go into our curves, grab a little hue versus hue, select her skin, right on her face, and we're gonna bring this down to the orange. All right, let's see what our adjustment did. That was before, that was after, wow, or that was after. Excuse me, wow, that was before, that's after. Before, after. Now, it is looking just a little kind of greenish yellow for my taste. So I'm gonna go back into the curves. I'm not gonna make that adjustment so harsh. I'm gonna do the same thing, Alt select, bring this up, reset everything, go into effects, and we are going to, because of what she's wearing, shows a lot more of her skin overall than our previous clip did. We want to make sure that any adjustments we make to her face is being made to all of the skin being shown. So I'm going to bring this up, feather it about 100. And now let's do some skin tone magic. Once again, I'm going to bring that down. Bring that up. Bring the midtones back down. Let's see what that adjustment did. So that's before, that's after. Man, I love seeing the effect take place because I mean, just look here. I'll even kind of zoom in more to her face here. Just look at the effect being done. That's before, whoops, go up here. Before, after, before, after. Just so much more detail and life being brought back in. And we can, we can take this, I think, even further. Oh, that was too far. Bring the shadows back up to normal. Now let's see. Before, after. Wow, I mean, seriously, look at all that. So obviously we lit this from the right hand side of frame, her left, and you can kind of see that detail just got lost right there, but we're able to bring it all back. So let me go reset this whole thing. That's before, this is after. I mean, I feel like I don't even need to say it, that that adjustment right there has made a world of difference. All right, and just like that, that is the end of the actual tutorial in Premiere Pro. You can absolutely do all of these effects in DaVinci or Final Cut Pro, depending on what editing platform you're using. But yeah, that is it. These are subtle adjustments, right? And like I said, I think I mentioned earlier in the video, at some point you might have thought, okay, we're done. That looks good enough. But I think the point of this video was to really show you that there's always a little bit more that you can do to really add and enhance to the video. And the point of this was just I want the skin tones to really pop off the screen and stand out and really make the audience and the viewer know, hey, this person is important. You need to focus on it. And again, there are probably even more things that we could do, maybe add a vignette to really draw your eye into the scene, but I'm sure this video is already long enough. So anyways, if you have any questions, or if you think, hey, maybe I didn't explain something very well, absolutely leave a comment down below and I will respond to you. But anyways, man, I really appreciate all you guys so much, man. You guys have been absolutely crushing the videos recently in terms of like watch time and views and all that. And I couldn't be more just happy and thankful for you guys. So if you've made it all the way to this part, man, you are just a freaking legend. I appreciate you. I hope to be making, more videos in the future, hopefully outside. Not everything needs to be indoors in front of the computer screen. So, but anyways, hope you guys have a phenomenal day, a phenomenal week, and I will see you in the next video.